kos? Could you have a kos it's more than the amount to need it, but it's not filled to make Kiddush?
Yeah, but remember, if a kos is not mole,
you heard it.
it's like
That's what I'm saying, it's so here.
you can
you're
have
saying-
more. For example, on Pesach, you need
the
4.4 ounces.
Right.
If your cup is 8 ounces,
Yeah,
but you got to fill it up
but
to
you
the
see,
top.
That's right, so here, what it does, by.
So he meant not for shiur in the same kos.
So he can't take it off.
He
because
can
you're not-
take it off.
You cannot take it off because you're not filling, the cup is not filled.
Yeah, it's not mole.
Even though there's
Even though there's a
enough
proper
wine.
shiur. That's what the Gemara said.
Yeah.
Torah Rabbanan. No, they heard me. That's all.
They heard you.
They only have to,
Yeah.
This isn't a visual thing. This is something that people listen to, I think. Torah Rabbanan. Beishamai Oimrim. Oh, we're on Nun Beis, Amud Aleph, where the line gets wide. Torah Rabbanan. Beishamai Oimrim. Noitlun liyadayim v'achakach moizgin esakos. It was a machlokes Beisham Beis Hillel. Beishamai said, first you wash your hands, then you pour the wine. Because if you allow the person to pour the wine first, there's always going to be a few drops of wine that pour over the kos. And remember, if you have not, our hands were declared shnios midrabanan, right? You have an avatuma. Let's say a sheretz is an avatuma, and it touches something, it becomes a rishon latuma. That rishon touches something else, becomes a sheni latuma. The sheni touches something else, becomes a shlishi. Now that only goes by truma. Chulin doesn't go more down beyond a sheni. Kotshim can go to a revi. Okay. Now, the Chachamim said, our hands are a level of a sheni. That's why we do netilas yadayim. So if our hands were unwashed, and this kos had some liquid in it, and it poured off the side of the kos, and we touched it, it's going to become tameh v'yachzer v'tamus hakos. So that's why he doesn't allow it. He wants us to do netilas yadayim first. Afraid to get more of a little yadayim lakos. Why did you have to go through this complex thing where first the mashkin got tameh, and the mashkin mitame the kos? Why don't we say that his hands directly mitame the kos? Gemara says because I'll give you an answer. Yadayim shlios hein. The ein sheni also shlishi b'chulin. Like we said, by chulin doesn't go down beyond sheni. Like if I touch truma with a sheni, I can make a truma shlishi, but I can't do by chulin. Now, but if I touch mashkin, that's elevated to a rishon. If it works perversely. If my hands are a sheni and I touch mashkin, the mashkin becomes a rishon. The rishon cannot be metame the kos. Right? Ela yedei mashkin. So that's Beis Shammai. Beis Hillel, I mean, no, moizkin es hakos v'achakach not liyadayim. They're not concerned. First, you should pour the kos, then you'd wash your hands. She'im ata oimer noitlun liyadayim tchila. Because if you're going to say this worry, you should do netilas yadayim first, because gzeir shem yitamu mashkin should be yodayim machmas hakos v'yichzu v'tamis yadayim. She'im ata oimer noitlun liyadayim tchila. Because if you would be noitlun yadayim first, we have a problem. Maybe gzeir shem yitamu mashkin should be yadayim machmas hakos. That means the mashkin that are on your hands will be metame through the kos, through the mashkin that are on the kos. V'yachzu v'yitamus yadayim. Afraid to more of a nitmu kos yadayim. Why doesn't the kos be metame the yadayim directly? Because there's a reason for that. Ein kli metame adam. A kli, an adam can metame a kli, but a kli cannot be metame an adam. So why are we only worried about the mashkin that are on the achorei the kos? I mean, we're talking about the few drops that have dripped beyond the back of the kos. Why don't we say that his yadayim can be metame the mashkin that are within the kos? We're talking about a kli that only the drops on the back of the kos became tamei. In that case, the tocho tohor. the gabotami. What's inside the kos remains tahor. Only what's on the outside remains tummy. Where do you see that? It's not. Kli shenit mu'achayr b'mashkin. You have a kli. You have liquid that poured on the outside of the kli, and that mashkin became tummy. Only achayr of tmeim toichay, but only the stuff on the outside is tummy. Toichay, the inside, the oignoi, the lip, the oznoi, the handles, the yadav, all remain tohoirin.
Even though not covered.
Rashi, toy, kiven the tumah zud rabbanon, since the whole thing is only a tumah rabbanon, of the behekera. Chacham made a hecker, the lid, the rabbanon. Now, why do we need a hecker? Because rabbinic tumah, we wouldn't burn truma if it became tumah through only rabbinic truma. V'kochim, v'kilubo. V'chen meforsh, oignois fosak full tzad chod, haroy l'tashmish, ozno kamok. He explains what these items are. We're talking about the handles and the lips and of the kosos. Now, nidma toichoi, nidma kulo. Now, the sherets fell into the inside of the kos, and the inners of the kos became tummy, then the whole kli is tummy. Now, if there's no machlokes Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel regarding this, b'may kamiflagi, then why, in fact, are Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel arguing regarding this issue? Should I first wash my hands and then do yayin, or yayin and then wash my hands? So Beis Shammai Savri osur lishtamish bekli shenitlu achav b'mashkin. He has a prohibition. You're not even allowed to use a kli where the liquids on the outside of the kli became tummy. Gzeir mishum nitzoitzes, because of these drops. And therefore, since you're not allowed to use the kli, lekala mixer shemi yitama mashkin shebidayim bekos. You don't have to worry that maybe the hands are going to become a tummy because of what was in the kos, because you're not going to. There's a prohibition to touch the kos. Now Beis Hillel doesn't have that. It's mutar lishtamish bekli shenit muachrav b'mashkin. He says you're allowed to touch such a kli. Why? Because nitzotzes lo shchichi. This issue that the little drops are going to get tummy, that it's not a common thing, and whenever something is not common, Chacham did not make zeiros. However, ikal mechish shema yitamu mashkin should be a dayim achmasakos. But like we were concerned, that's why we don't want you to wash your hands at first, because maybe your hand, the beverages, the liquids that are on your hand will become tomei through touching the kos. Then the Gemara says dover acher. I'll give you another reason why. First, you should do yayin and then netilas yadayim, which was the sheet of Beis Hillel. Tekef l'netilas yadayim seuda, because remember we learned a bunch of tekefs. Right after tekef, after you do smicha shchita by a kochim, and then we said tekef legeula tefila. Right. One of the tekefs, one of the things that immediately after this you do this is netilas yadayim. Netilas yadayim. We don't go taking a walk around the block before. What do we do after we do netilas? Go right away and eat the suda. That's based on this halacha, that there's no dilly-dallying from netilas yadayim. And therefore, if we would have made netilas yadayim and then moizgin lekos, it doesn't allow us to do this din of tekef netilas yadayim suda. So, my dover acher. Why did we have to resort to like something else that had to be said by Beis Hillel? So the Gemara says, "Hachi kamer lahu Beis Hillel Beis Shammai." This is what Beis Hillel is saying to Beis Shammai. Lididchu, according to you, the Amrisu, what do you say? Osur lishtamish bekli shachrav tmeim, that you make a prohibition to even touch this kli. Why? The Gazrina mishum nitzotzos. You're worried about the nitzotzos. Even so, afilu hachi ha'adifa. We have something stronger than that, the tekef l'netilas yadayim seuda. So you have a reason for why you want to do it. But we have this other halacha, that there should be no delay between the netilas yadayim and the suda, and therefore we have to do it our way. Then there was another machlokes.
Doesn't the Yekis, they wash and then they make kiddush, then they make a motzi. So so in that regard there is a hefsek though. They wash before kiddush, right? And then they after kiddush they make a motzi. So is there a hefsek? Would there be considered a hefsek? Because you say the washing, then immediately go on the meal before drinking. But here they wash and then
make kiddush, and then they make them motzi.
So in that regard, there is a.
It must be considered part of the suda. it doesn't. There's not a lack in the tekef l'netilas yadayim suda, because I guess it's all considered part of the suda.
The kid,
Even the kiddush is part of it. That's how that's how you'd have to learn. Torah about it. Beishamai oimrim. Then we had a debate in the Mishnah what to do with the towel that you dried your hands with. You drop it on the table, or you put it on the pillow. What's going on with that? So again, it's going to be with tumah v'tahara. Beishamai oimrim. Mekaneach yadav b'map.
Oh my God.
You dry your hands with the towel. Umenich ala shulchan, and you put it on the table. She'im ato omer ala keses. If you put it on the pillow, gzeir shami tamu mashkin shebemapa b'achbas hakeses. We're concerned that tumah that's in the pillow will be metame the beverage, the fluid that's in the towel, and then yachzor v'yitamu, so you die. So it's gonna be metame our hands, and then v'nit mekeses lamapa. So Gemara says v'nit mekeses lamapa. Why do we have to go through again this sort of circuitous route? Why can't the keses directly make the mapa tome? Because of the principle, ein kli metame kli. A kli can metame oichel, but a kli cannot metame another kli. Freit the Gemara v'nit mekeses legavra gufe. Why doesn't the pillow directly make the person tome? Ein kli metame odam. Because there's a rule as well that a kli is not metame odam. An odam can metame a kli, but not vice versa.
First, with the ain't kli matame kli, we know that if a kli is inside another kli, the outside kli is matame the one that's inside of it. Generally, where you have, let's say, one kli inside of another makes
No. If you have, you're talking about if you have a kli cheres and you dangle a sheretz within the airspace of the kli, then anything in the kli becomes tame. But that's not a kli being matame. That's a special din of airspace. But a tamidika kli that touches another kli does not convey tumah to
If
that
it's
kli.
inside of it, we don't.
There are, like, if you dangle a sheretz and tuch in the airspace, even though it doesn't touch the walls of the kli, that there's a special din of the airspace of a kli cheretz that's matame everything in it. But that's not an example of a kli being matame a kli. If that's right, a kli, we're talking about like a tamidika kli that touches another kli. No, Adam can be matame kelim, but kelim cannot be matame another kelim. Ubeis Hillel oimrim, that you deposit the drying towel not on the table, but rather on the pillow that you sit on. She'imato omer la shulchan, if you put it on the table, that's the problem, because gzeira, we don't do it. Shema yitamu mashkin shebemata machos hashulchan. There's something tummy on the table, which might cause the liquid in the mappa to become tummy, and then now it's been elevated to a rishon v'yachzor v'yitamu sa'oichlin, and that can be matame food. Frankly, more of a latame shulchan lo'oichlin. How come this kli directly doesn't matame the food? Why do we have to go through this, elevating the fluid that's in the towel to a rishon and go through the circuitous route? So when it says hacha b'shulchan sheni askinan, because the shulchan was only a sheni, the ein sheni osa shlishi b'chulin. The sheni, right, a kli can be matame oichel, but it's got to fulfill the rule. So if it's never an avatum, it could be a rishon, but a rishon could make a sheni, but a sheni cannot make a shlishi if you're talking about chulin, like we said before. If it was truma, yes, it could go down to a shlishi. But if it's a sheni, since we're dealing with chulin here, the shulchan would not have been able to make chulin into a shlishi. Ella, idei mashkin, except for this sort of, we rev up the mashkin to a rishon, which allows it to be matame oichel. So again, we ask b'mai kamiflagi, what exactly is Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel arguing? Beis Shammai savri also ishtamish b'shulchan. We're not allowed, because he's just like he said that it was a gzeira, we're not allowed to use a kli. In this case, we're not allowed to use a shulchan. Right? If it's a sheni. So if you identify that something that is a rishon l'tuma touched a shulchan and it made the shulchan a sheni, you're not allowed to use that shulchan. You got to go and put it in a mikveh, do whatever you have to do to be matar it before you use it. Now, since I'm prohibited to use it, why? Gzeira mishum oichlei truma, and since oichlei truma can go down to a shlishi, so you're not allowed to use the shulchan sheni. Ubeis Hillel, they're not that machmir. Savri mutul ishtamish b'shulchan sheni. Why? What about oichlei truma? Don't they have to worry about shlishi? Yeah, but oichlei truma, who are they? Kohanim. Who eats truma? Only Kohanim. And Kohanim by nature are zrizim heim. They have alacrity. They're very careful. We don't have to make a gzeira for Kohanim. Dover acher. Ein netilas yadayim l'chulim in Torah. The netilas yadayim for chulin is not required in Torah. We only required midrabbanan, but not in Torah. My davar acher. What was this other din that had to be taught us? Hachi kamrinan luhu beis Hillel beis Shammai. This is what beis Hillel is saying to beis Shammai. V'chitem u'mayishna gabi oichlan. How come you were concerned by oichel the chayshinan? U'mayishna gabi adam de chayshinan. So afilu hachi. Even if we don't understand that, we have another principle. Ha'adifa. The ein etzatan l'chulim in Torah mutav shitamu yadayim. Better that the hands should become tummy, the less lu ikum midaraisa, because that whole thing doesn't violate anything midaraisa. Va'ayitamu oichlin the iflu ikum midaraisa. Having something a rishon being matama oichel is ikum midaraisa. The gzeres of the sheni to a shlishi is all rabbinic, so that's not a problem. Then there was another machlokes between Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel regarding sweeping before you bed, before you do netilas yadayim. Talk about Beis Shammai oimrim mechadim sabayis, you sweep va'achar kach noten yadayim. And then you do netilas yadayim. Shema to'emer noten yadayim tchila. Because if we do netilas yadayim first, nimtza tamafsid is oichlin. You might, ruin the oichel. So because there's pirurim everywhere, they're going to get, and it could become tamei, it could become ma'us. So clean up first. Aval netilas yadayim lebeis Shammai. But this concept of doing it this time first is not svardik to Beis Shammai. My time, mishum pirurim, because of the crumbs that are there. That's why you have to sweep up first. Ubeis Hillel oimrim im shamish tamid chacham. If the shamis is if the waiter is a tamid chacham, hu noitel pirurin sheyesh ben kazayis. The only kind of problem is if the pirurin have a kazayis. Then it can be makabel tumah. So he picks up all the purin that are at least the kazayis gets rid of him, but benich purin shein ben kazayis. But he leaves the pirurin shein ben kazayis, and then there's no problem with tumah. This is not going to be a baltashkas regarding oichel. The silent Rav Yochanan, Dam Rav Yochanan, pirurin shein ben kazayis mutala of the biyad. There's no problem with baltashkas by crumbs smaller than a kazayis. But my kamifliki, Beis Hillel savri osir liishtamish b'shamis amaretz, that you have to have a Talmid Chacham Shabbos, because you're not allowed to use a Shabbos amaretz, because he has no zoldik did it. Ubeis Shammai savri mutal ishtamish b'shabbos amaretz, but you're allowed to use it. So since you're allowed to use it, he's worried, so you have to get rid of the pirurim first, which is why you have to sweep before netilas yadayim. Rav Yosef b'Chanina Rav Huna, the Kula Pirkei Halacha Beis Hillel Bar Me'ahad Halacha Beis Shammai. In this whole parak, in all these machlokes between Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel, the halacha is always like Beis Hillel, except for this exception where we say it's like Beis Shammai. However, Rabbi Shir Masni Ibcha, Rabbi Shir said no. Uvahanami halacha Beis Hillel. He disagreed. But we paskin in these last ones like Beis Shammai, that first mechadim sabayis and then do not l'yidai. Then we had a machlokes what to do of Havdalah when the meal extended beyond Motzei Shabbos. And in the middle we said Beis Shammai would do Me'orei Ha'esh first and then Besamim, and Beis Hillel did Besamim first and Me'orei Ha'esh. Rav Huna Bar Yehuda Ikla Bei Rava. Rav Huna visited the house of Rava. Chazil Rava Devarech Absamim Bereisha. He heard Rava make Besamim first. What are you doing? I thought Beis Shammai still don't argue regarding with Mo'or, the Tanya. Our Mishnah said like this: Beis Shammai oimrim that if you ate a meal shalosh shudas and extended into Motzei Shabbos, first you do ner umazoin, you bench, then do besamim v'avdola. Ubeis Hillel oimrim ner ubesamim mazon v'avdola. So he pointed out to Rava that both Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel said you do Ner first. There's no argument by Ner. So why are you saying that there's a problem? Ani Rava Basrei, Zudiv Rab Meir. You quoted the Mishnah in the name of Rab Meir. Aval Rabbi Yehuda Omer, that loy nechleku Beis Shammai Beis Hillel ala mazon shu betchila vel Havdalah she besod. Really, they both agree. First you bench, and then Havdalah comes at the end, like what we do. It's the only part that they argued is in the middle part. Alma nechleku ala mor vel psamim. She Beis Shammai Omer ala mor v'achar psamim. First you did the boyer me'orei eish and then psamim. Ubeis Hillel Omer psamim v'achar kach mor. What's the halacha? On Rav Yochanan, no go am ke Beis Hillel alibed Rabbi Yehuda, which is our halacha, which is why we do besamim first and more next, like the sheet of Beis Hillel. No surprise there. Then we had a machlokas between Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel. What is the language? Boirei me'orei eish, or Beis Shammai said a different language. The Beis Hillel said me'orei, and Beis Shammai said bara me'ora eish, and Beis Hillel says boirei me'ora eish. So they have a machlokes here. Amru bebara kulam lo pligi the bara mashma, that goes in the past tense, that it was created. Ki pligi beborei. Bore is more of a present tense word, but Beis Shammai savri boirei the osid lemidra. It's going to be created. Ubeis Hillel sorry boirei nami the bara mashma. It could mean past tense as well. Moshe Rav Yosef says Yotzer or uvorei choshech. Now, vorei clearly goes in the past, that Hashem created that. Yotzer har v'borei ruach. Borei hashamayim v'noteim, which clearly is past. Elo Amar Rav Yosef bebara uboirei kulam lo pligi debora mashma. That both the words bara and boirei means past tense. The machlokes is only by the word ma'or. Ki pligi b'ma'or u'ma'orei. The Beis Shammai said chada noira iked b'noira. Beis Shammai held that there was one flame when you looked at a flame, and that's why he doesn't use the word ma'orei, which is plural. He says, I'm giving thanks for the ma'or, for the light. Ubeis Hillel sabri tuva noira iked b'noira. There are many sort of flames. Now, some people want to learn here that it means the various, like the prism, right? That there's green and orange and blue and all the Newton demonstrated through prism that light has 7 colors. So some want to say that Beis Hillel is commenting on that concept, that there are many sort of lights in a flame. Like Rashi says, Shalhevet aduma levona yirakros. These are things that you saw. I mean, even with your naked eye, you could see sort of a reddish color. Sometimes you could see a greenish color, whatever. Now, of course, when you use the prism, you could see even more. There's a lot of different colors and lights, and therefore you have to say the lashon ma'orei. Then we said, if the goy lit the flame, you don't make a bracha on the light ner of a goy. Bishma ner mishum deloy shavas. So we're going to see that you're supposed to only make havdalah on a ner that was not used on Shabbos. Now, a goy used a ner on Shabbos. That's why we can't make a bracha on the ner that he used. But then we said, you also can't make a bracha on the besamim that belong to a goy. Why not? Elabsoy my time alone. Amrav Yehud Amrav Hachav Mesibas of Yikachav Maskinam Neshestam Mesibas of Yikachav Lavadazarhi. This came from the party of Goyim, and the Gemara says a regular party of Goyim was held for Avodah Zarah. So the Gemara says that can't be. How many tani sefer aim of Archelol on the Ervlop Samishal Avodah Zarah Mechal Dereisha Lav Avodah Skinan. The end of the Mishnah already told me if it belongs to Avodah Zarah you can't use it. So therefore you can't tell me that the Reisha is the same din. No, it is the same din. The Mishnah is in a structure of mat'am kama. What is the reason for the halacha that I started off with? Many times the Mishnah will tell us, will give us halacha, and then a later part of the Mishnah explains the halacha. That means, what's the reason? that we don't make a bracha if the light or the sun belong to an akum? Mipnei shestam mesibas avikacham lavad zara.
Even if we knew it didn't come from there, from Avodah Zarah.
Well, we're saying stam means we don't know the details of it. Like, when we always say stam something, because we see something, we don't know specifically what the details is. So the question is, how do we treat something? So we say a stam mesiba, a stam mesiba of a goy is considered avodah zarah. We have to assume like this: if we just see a party and we don't know the details about the party, we have to assume that's an avodah zarah party. Now, on the other hand, if you knew the details of the party, it was for Uncle Joe's 50th retirement, and I knew the avodah zarah, then it wouldn't be such a problem, because it's not stam. Stam is when we don't know what it is. Torah Rabbana. Or sheshavas mevarchin alav. That we're gonna try to define what do you mean ner sheshavas. But the Brisa says it's only on a ner sheshavas that you can make a bracha on. The shaloi shavas and mevarchin alav. My loy shavas. Now, what does it mean? A ner that shavas and a ner loy shavas. This we're going to learn tomorrow.